This
So
conference will now be recorded.
yeah, in the last class, so we discussed about the what is the basic content, right? What is the data warehousing? What are the tools are there in the data combination of the ETL and BI tools? What are the ETL tools and what are the BI tools? Okay, and what is data warehousing and what kind of sources we have and what kind of targets we have? Okay, databases. Okay, and types of the data also we discussed in the last class. Types of the data. We have the transactional data as well as the analytical data. The transactional data we call as a raw data, that is we call as a OLTP data. OLTP is nothing but the online transactional processing. Okay, online transactional processing. And OLTP is nothing but the, so where we have deriving from the data, from the transactional data. So that data we call as a analytical data. So that is a OLAP, online analytical processing. Okay, and also we have seen the data warehousing architecture. Okay, I'll show you one more time the data warehousing architecture. So like that it will be there in the any kind of project, any company. This is the data warehousing, the project architecture. Okay, we have the multiple sources. These sources are either it could be homogeneous or heterogeneous source systems. Okay, what is meant by homogeneous means whatever we are getting the data from the same format, multiple sources but the same format, means for example these source 1 data we are getting from the Oracle database, source 2 data we are getting from the SQL server, source 3 data we are getting from the DB2. The sources are different but the format will be same, all will be table format only. So these kind of sources we call as a homogeneous sources. Okay, what is meant by heterogeneous sources? Heterogeneous sources is nothing but the, we are getting from the data multiple sources with multiple formats. Okay, for example the source 1 will be SQL server, source 2 will be flat file, source 3 will be web application or legacy systems, like that, different kind of sources. Okay, that will call as a heterogeneous. So these sources we are going to extract by using the ETL tool. Okay, here we are using any one of the ETL tool and we are going to extract this tool. Okay, all the data, whatever the data is there here, we are going to extract and integrate into one system, integrate into one data warehousing. Okay, as of now you can leave it this one, I will tell you in the next, take this one, otherwise we draw one diagram, we go for the same diagram. Yeah, so these are the multiple source systems. Okay, by using the ETL tool we are extracting and then integrated into the one system, that is the data warehousing system. Okay, here are the data warehousing. Okay, once the data warehousing is loaded into the here on top by using the BI tool, yeah, here is the BI tools they are using and then generating the different kind of reports here. Okay, different kind of reports they are going to generate here. Okay, the same thing here, the architecture also. These are multiple source systems, ERP, CRM, SCM. So there are multiple source systems. So by using the ETL tool, they're going to extract all the data and then place into the data warehousing. Okay, once the data loaded into data warehousing, and then we are going to generate the reports, different kind of reports they are going to generate by using the BI tools. Okay, so the data warehousing is a end-to-end testing. We call it as a end-to-end testing. So this is the back-end validation testing. The ETL part will be back-end validation, and the report part will be front-end validation testing. Okay, clear guys? Any doubts here up to here? This is what we discussed in the last class. Okay, and also we discussed the characteristics of the data warehousing in the last class. Characteristics of the data warehousing. Okay, what are those characteristics? Any project, any data warehousing project we call as a data warehousing, then it should be satisfy those characteristics, or properties or features. Okay, so if you not satisfy any one of the property, then we can't call as a, that is a data warehousing project. Okay, One is the subject oriented. One is the subject oriented, and second one integrated. Third one non-volatile. Fourth one will be time variant. Okay, these are the four different kind of properties are there for the data warehousing projects. Okay, what is meant by subject oriented means we are focusing on a particular area of the subject, particular area, particular functionality. Okay, where for example HR information is there, so all HR information we are storing into one place, one table. Okay, or sales information, all the sales information, because we are getting the data from multiple sources. So whatever the sales information here, the same sales information from here we are taking are all the sources. We are capturing the sales information and place into one place, separate table. We are storing into separate table. Okay, whatever the information we need, the sales information, what is last week sales means, we can able to go on the sales table and we can able to retrieve the last week sales or last year sales. Okay, because of all the information at one place, that is nothing but the subject oriented. Okay, next will be integrated. Integrated is nothing but we are going to extract multiple sources with multiple formats. All the data we are going to integrate into one system, one unique system, unique format. Okay, maybe take the here will be, you can take this is India. So take the Citibank, any bank. Okay, so here we are storing the, in India we are storing the transaction will be our INR rupees. Okay, but come to the US, they're going to store the dollar symbol, right? Come to the UK, they're going to store into the pound symbol. Like that, different countries, different formats are there, right? But while loading into the data warehousing, we have to load into any unique format, either dollar, either pound or rupee. Okay, that is a integration is nothing but the we are extracting multiple source systems data and then integrated into one unique format. Okay, that is the integration. Next will be non-volatile. Non-volatile is nothing but, so whatever the data we are entered into data warehousing, this is a read-only data. We can't change, we can't manipulate this data. Okay, then only we can able to accuracy of the business we can able to analyze. If you do some any manipulations, then there is no use of the loading the data, analyzing the data. Okay, that is a non-volatile is nothing but once the data entered into the data warehousing, we can't do any manipulations. It's a read-only data. Only select. We are using the on top of here only selection, not DML operations or update, delete. This kind of transaction we can't able to do in the target database. Okay, whatever the data, new data is there, that data we can able to insert only. We can't do any manipulations. Okay, clear guys? Sorry. So next will be time variant. The time variant is nothing but the, so the different time widgets we can able to analyze the data. Whatever the data we are storing into data warehousing, we can able to analyze the different kind of time frames like YTD. I explained in the YTD, STD, QTD, MTD, and WTD. What is meant by YTD means year to date. Means whenever they apply the YTD functionality, it will fetch the data from year starting to till date, from whichever the date you have selected, up to that date it will select. Okay, and come to the same STD means season to date, means half year. We have 2 half years are there, first half year, second half year. So in the US or UK, they have the 2 seasons are there. One is the fall season, one more is the spring season and fall season. Okay, they call it as spring and fall. But here we call it as a half year, first half and second half in India. Quarter means we have the 4 quarters in a year. So based on the quarter wise, which quarter you are in, right now we are in the third quarter, right? So it will fetch the from third quarter starting to till date, means July 1st to July 3rd, July 5th, it will fetch the data. Okay, or for example, I selected the date June 20. Then it will come the data. It will fetch the April 1st to June 20. Whatever the date you have selected, that particular quarter data it will fetch the starting to till date, whichever the date you have selected. Okay. And same monthly MTD means month to date. Okay. And WTD week to date, week starting to till date. Okay. Like that, different kind of, we have another time widgets are there, this year, last year, previous year, or PPY. Previous to previous means last to last year, 3 years back. So like that, different kind of time widgets we can able to analyze the data warehousing data. Whatever the data we are going to insert into ingestion into the data warehousing, that data we are going to analyze into different formats. Okay, time widgets. That property has to satisfy the data warehousing project. So these are the four properties it has to support the, it has to satisfy the data warehousing projects. Okay, so this is what we discussed in the last class. Okay. Okay. So next we'll go for the next topic. OLAP versus OLTP. So OLTP, what I told, OLTP means transactional data. Frequently it's going to update the records, right? OLTP is nothing but the online transactional processing. Okay, online transactional processing is nothing but the OLTP. OLAP is nothing but the online analytical processing. Okay, online analytical processing. How we are getting the data from OLAP? On top of the, we are deriving from the OLTP only. Whatever the data is there, OLTP data, that data we are loading into the OLAP for analysis purpose. Okay, you can see the differences here. The applications, who is going to use the OLTP data? Okay, ERP system, CRM system, legacy apps. So these are the over the transactional. So operational data, who require the operational data, transactional data, those systems they are going to use this OLTP system. So OLTP who is using? So who are the taking the decisions? Okay, who are the taking the decision makers? So those people they can use the OLAP data, means for analysis purpose only they are going to use this data, OLAP data. Okay, so in the OLAP we are going to maintain the historical data. So last 5 years, 10 years data we are going to maintain in the OLAP data. But here we can't maintain that much data here. Okay, maximum it will be 3 months or 1 year data we can able to maintain in the OLTP systems. Okay, so who is going to users? Here the staff people they can do. For example, if you go to the bank ATM, so they can able to get it the data, right? So those people only, the staff people they're going to use this OLTP data. But here managers or executives, who are the high level people, who are the taking the decisions, those people can able to use this OLAP data. Okay, here week up to weeks, months data it will be available in the OLTP system, but the OLAP data you can able to store the years of the data, maybe 10 years, 5 years, 8 years. Okay, there is no limit for year. Okay, refresh. So within the seconds only it is going to update the immediately, transactions are going to update here. Immediate refresh. The OLTP. For example, you go to the ATM, you withdraw some amount 5,000. Again within the second only, again you are going to withdraw another 5,000. So if you take the your statement, mini statement, you'll get the 2 transactions. So that is the thing. The OLTP data is going to immediately within the seconds only it is going to update. Okay, but here periodically means whenever we loaded the data, whenever we refresh the data, then only it will pass the data from OLTP to OLAP. If you didn't load, if you didn't refresh, then it won't load the data, OLTP data into OLAP data. Okay, in the real time, here this one we are either daily or weekly, they're going to refresh. Some reports are weekly they're going to refresh, but some tables are they're going to daily. Once end of the day is completed, then 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock early morning, they'll start the automatically the process. So whatever the data is there today, yesterday data, it will load into the OLAP from OLTP. Okay, that's a periodic schema. So data model is a here it will follow the ER model, means entity relationship model. I will explain the ER model, and the here the dimension models it will follow. These two topics next class I will explain. Okay, ER model and dimension models, means here it won't allow the any duplicates. Okay, here it won't allow the any duplicates. For example, I will tell you one simple example. Take the employee table, EMP table. Okay, take the EMP table. So one employee 101 Ram, he has 10,000 salary in QA department. This is my data in the employee table. Okay, 101 Ram, 10,000 and QA. So in the ER model or normalization form, okay, whenever the salary is increased to 15,000, what happened? So it will go directly, it will go and update into here only. 15,000 it will go and update. So it won't allow the second record here. 101 Ram 15. So like that it won't create the in the ER model. So it won't allow the duplicate records in the ER model. Okay, so it will be, this is a 10,000. But in the dimension model, we are going to achieve this one. So we are going to maintain the history. We can able to see what is your first salary, what is your second hike, what is your third hike. Everything we can able to analyze the data in the data warehousing in the dimension model. Okay, but in the ER model we can't able to analyze. For example, you can see, I'll show you. Just I'm opening this one. I'm going to connect the SCART. Okay, select star from, take the employee table. Okay, this is my employee table. So I'm going to up here, we can't, I can try to insert the one more record, the same record. Okay, so 1005. Okay, I'm trying to insert the 1005 record, insert into EMP. This I will explain you guys. This SQL topics I will explain you after data warehousing concepts. Okay, see salary is 1000 is there. I'm going to update the 3000. Okay, sorry, it's not good. Okay, what happened here? Now execute this one. What happened? You see, unique constraint violated. Okay, I got the error, unique constraint violated, because of it, it won't take this one. Okay, it is going to override only. It is going to override the in the ER model. The ER model is going to override. So it can't maintain the duplicate because of the this 1005 record already available in the my table, EMP table. In second, guys. So this 1005 record already available in my employee table. So it won't try to insert into the second record. So what happened? They have to do the, you have to do like this. It's going to override update EMP set salary equal to sal equal to 3000, where EMP number, employee number equal to 1005. Like that it will happen in the ER model. So one row updated. Now you can go and see what happened. Your earlier will be is 1000 rupees, 1000 salary. Now it updated to 3000. Okay, but we can't able to see the what is your old one, old salary, what is your first salary, we can't able to see here. Okay, that is the reason. So ER model, they can't maintain the duplicates, they can't allow the duplicates here. Okay, that is the ER model. I will explain you tomorrow class one more time. Okay, normalize also the same thing only, the schema everything will be under data model only, it will come. Okay, so that is the reason they're going to use the OLAP data for the analysis purpose. Okay, the emphasis will be update. Here going to, they will update. Just now I showed you, they're going to update only in this OLTP data. Here will be retrieval, means select statement, only select statement. This is the select statement, this is the going to update here. They can able to update the data here. Okay, that is the OLTP and OLAP systems, OLTP and OLAP systems. Okay, they will ask in the interview, guys, this question they will ask. Can you tell me the difference between the OLTP and OLAP? This question they will ask in the interview point of view. Okay, I'll send you the some questions also. Please be prepare the question answers for that one, and if you want you can send to me, or you can cross check it in the Google also. What is that answer? Whatever you wrote the answer, correct or not? Okay, here the question will be OLTP versus OLAP. They will ask in the interview. Okay, so clear, right? OLTP versus OLAP. Any doubts on the OLAP versus OLAP data? I'll share you this document, guys. Yes.
Raman, I have a question.
Yeah, tell.
In the schema there you have mentioned as star schema. So like, what exactly is a star schema?
Yeah, I will explain you that is these two topics I will going to explain the tomorrow class. Okay.
Okay.
And the star schema. Okay, I will explain in the tomorrow class. The separate topic is there for star schema. That I will explain in the tomorrow class. These two. Okay.
Okay.
Other than that, anything, any doubts? The ER model means whichever I explained you rightly just now. The entity relation means they're maintaining the primary and foreign key relationship. The ER model. So that is the reason whenever we are going to insert the same record, whenever we are going to insert the same record, it will be violated. It will throw the error because of the constraints will be applied for the employee. Unique constraint they are going to apply it in the ER model. Okay, that is the reason they're not going to take the same record again one more time. So they're going to just update the values, whatever the data is there, that data they're going to update in the OLTP system, means override the data, the OLTP system. So they can't maintain the history in the OLTP systems. Okay, but come these data, whatever the data is there, sorry, these data we are capturing into the data warehousing and we are maintaining the history. So in the data warehousing, it will load as a like this. It will show like this the data. The same data it will show in the here. 101 RAM 10,000 QA, 101 RAM 15,000 QA. If you again if any changes happen, number of changes, everything we are going to maintaining the data warehousing. Okay, we can able to analyze this data. So what is your first salary, what is your first increment, what is your second increment, what is your third increment, everything we can go able to analyze the data in OLAP. Okay, so these two topics tomorrow I will explain you tomorrow class. Okay. Any other doubts?
No,
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. So in the data warehousing architecture, I told one ODS concept. What is meant by ODS? ODS is also a kind of data warehousing project. ODS also a kind of data warehousing project only. Okay. Then why it's separate by ODS is why we call it as a ODS separately. ODS is nothing but the operational data store. Okay. Operational data store. This is a kind of data warehousing. Okay. For this also they have the properties are there. What are the properties means for ODS? ODS means operational data store. Okay. The properties of the data ODS means subject oriented, same whatever we discuss in the subject oriented, integrated, but volatile. This is the only change in the data warehousing and ODS, volatile and time variant. Okay. Only difference between the data warehousing and ODS will be this is a volatile data, that is a non-volatile data. Okay. First of all, for example, take any company, simple for understanding purpose. Take any Infosys or TCS, anything, Accenture, Infosys, okay, or TCS or Accenture. So whenever we apply any job, their portal, either Infosys, TCS, Accenture, if you didn't clear the interview, so again you are trying to apply next day or next 10 days, or again trying to apply the same company, they won't allow, right? Otherwise, if you apply also, they won't call you, they won't schedule you, because of they're maintaining your profiles in the 6 months, at least 6 months they're going to maintain. They're going to maintain the at least 6 months. Okay. So what will happen? They will throw the error. They will say they'll say you can apply after 6 months, because they're maintaining the database. So after 6 months once completed, again automatically they'll delete your profiles. They can't do the manually. So automatically they'll delete your profiles. Again you can able to eligible for the interview after 6 months only. Okay. The same thing here only, ODS also the same thing. So they're maintained. So who are the big not big companies, the medium companies or small companies, they can't maintain their history 10 years or 15 years or 5 years. Okay, 5 years or 10 years. They can't maintain the history. They don't have that much cost and effort. Okay, they want only 3 years data. So for me, I want to analyze my sales, my business from last 3 years always. Okay, always I want to analyze my from last 3 years data. I want to analyze. Okay, in that scenario, they will go for the ODS. ODS also is a data warehousing project only, but they're maintaining only the small companies. They're going to maintain the ODS. They're going to the project, ODS project. Okay, they can't maintain the history from long time. In the data warehousing, I told in the data warehousing they can maintain the history in the maybe 10 years or 15 years or so. They can able to maintain, and we can't do any manipulations on the data. Okay, but here the ODS, so they can maintain only 3 years or 5 years, whatever their limit, their capacity. They're going to maintain that much years of the data. Once the 3 years are completed, automatically the data will be removed from the data store. Okay, for example, I'm going to maintain the 3 years data. Now to year 2021. So they're going to maintain 2020, 2019. Okay. So 2018 from June onwards. So now it will be July, right? 2018 July onwards, they're going to maintain the data. So 1 year, 2 year, 3 years data. So once the July is completed, means automatically the July data automatically deleted here. Okay, in the last. So every time they're going to maintain only 3 years data. So automatically the July data means July 4th data automatically it will delete in the backend. Now we are in July 5th. Once the July 5th data is loaded, it will delete the July 4th data here. 2018 July 4th data, they are going to remove automatically. Okay. So that is that's why we call it as the volatile data. They are going to remove the data from their business. Because they don't want all the history. They don't want to maintain their all the history. For the data warehouse means they have to maintain the history, means they have to put the effort and cost also. The servers they have to increase every time. Okay, otherwise it will be very slow. They can't maintain the data, right? Huge amount of data they have to spend for the data warehousing to maintain the servers. Okay, for who are the not able to maintain those kind of data, they'll go for the only limited data or 3 years or 1 year, anything based on their requirement, or 5 years data. Okay, after the years is completed, automatically the backend data is going to delete it. Okay? That is the ODS concept. Okay, it's a data warehousing only. It's a data warehousing only, but the only change is it's a volatile. That is the only difference. The remaining all will be same for data warehousing as well as the ODS. We call it as operational data store. This one, operational data store. Okay, clear guys? Operational data store. It's a kind of data warehousing project only. Only difference is the here volatile data. In the data warehousing, it will be non-volatile data. Okay, this is not that much important. They won't ask in the even interviews also. For our understanding purpose, just I explained here this one. Okay. Yeah. Next topic will go for the who is the author of data warehousing. Authors of data warehousing. Who is the founder of the data warehousing? Okay. There are the two guys are founder the data warehousing. One is the Ralph Kimball. One is the Billy Iman. Ralph Kimball and Billy Iman. These two guys that introduced the data warehousing concepts, data warehousing project. Okay, one is the Ralph Kimball, one is the Billy Iman. Okay, so these two guys are introduced the data warehousing. Their own approaches. One guy is approached the bottom up approach. He suggested the bottom up approach. One guy suggested for the top down approach. Okay, what is meant by bottom up approach? What is meant by top down approach? We'll see. See, Ralph Kimball. Ralph Kimball, what is he introduced? Which approach? Bottom up approach. Ralph Kimball is a bottom up approach. So bottom up approach is nothing but the whatever the raw data is there. Okay, raw data is there. That raw data they're going to subject oriented. They're going to do the subject oriented before loading into the data warehousing. So all the data they're going to segregate here itself before loading the data warehousing. They're going to segregate the data. So sales information is separate, inventory information separate, employee information separate, like that. They're going to segregate the data and then they're loading into the data warehousing. For example, you can take the Central Mall. So they're going to order all the items. So to vendor. So menswear, women's wear, and then accessories, kids wear, everything they're going to order. Okay, purchase order. But the vendor guy, so the vendor will be segregated the all items. Men's is separate, women's is separate, kids is separate, accessories separate. The separate boxes. So they sent to central. Okay, what happened? All the guys, whatever the men's boxes there, they will directly take into the men's floor, and they'll keep in the men's floor. Okay, so like that. Or if you all the vendor guy will be keep in the one box all the things, men's, women's, and the apparels as well as everything will be accessories, everything will be keep in the one box to send to the central. Then what they have to do, once the boxes come, they have to segregate again the data, right? The same way here also, the bottom up approach means they're going to segregate before loading into the data warehousing. they're going to segregate the data. The OLTP step, they did the separated data. The sales information separate, inventory information separate, and then they're going to extract the data and then loading into the data warehousing. But top-down approach means whatever the data is the raw data, all the data they're going to load first into the data warehousing target database, and then they do the segregation. They will do the data warehousing, subject oriented functionality. Okay, so it depends upon the requirement how the data is coming from the sources, the business requirement. Based on that, they will choose for the either Ralph Kimball approach or Billy Iman approach, either bottom approach or top down approach. 99% in the any company they're going for their data will be Ralph Kimball data, bottom up approach only in the real time. Okay, so whatever the data we are getting, all segregated data only will get into the data warehousing. Okay, all the separate tables data. I will show you the tables also. Once the ETL validation come, I will show you the whatever the data is there. The tables will be how they are in the tables data. I will show you that one as part of the ETL validation. Okay, but just understand here the bottom approach means, so before going to load into the data warehousing, they will segregate the data and then load into the data warehousing. But here Billy Iman means whatever the raw data is there, all the raw data they're going to load into into the data warehousing. After that, they're going to create the tables separately. The sales information separate table, inventory information separate table, purchase order separate table, like that. Okay, this we call as a data marts. Subject oriented we call as a data mart here. Data marts we call as a data marts. So data mart is nothing but the focusing on a single subject, that is a data mart. Okay, single area we call as a data mart. Okay, clear guys? Ralph Kimball and Billy Iman, you can see here. Build the business process oriented small data marts which are joined to each other using the common dimensions between the business process. So what are the small data marts? First they are going to use the small data marts. Based on the small data marts, they are going to load into the data warehousing here. For Billy Iman, once the centralized data warehouse which will act as a enterprise wide data warehouse, and then build the data marts as per needs. Okay, that is the only difference guys. The Ralph Kimball means first they'll create the data marts and then load into the data warehousing. Okay, but Billy Iman means first the data load into the data warehousing. On top of the data warehousing, they're going to create the data marts. Data marts is nothing but the subject oriented. Okay, that's why this is called as the approach name they give in the bottom up approach, top down approach. Okay, data marts should be built on dimensional modeling approach. Central data warehousing follow the year modeling approach. Clear guys? Authors of data warehousing, one is the Ralph Kimball, one is the Billy Iman. Next we go for the data mart. So data mart is, I told, the subject oriented. Sales is a one data mart. HR information is a one data mart. Okay, so they will ask interview what is data mart. This question they will ask guys, what is data mart, they will ask in the interview. If you have 3 years or 4 years experience or 2 years experience, they will ask this small question, simple questions they will ask in the interview point of view. If you keep your resume in 5 years, 5 plus above, then they won't ask this kind of questions, small questions. Okay, but in the 2 to 4 years, they will ask these questions. What is data mart? Okay, what is the difference between the OLTP and OLAP? What is difference between the data warehousing and data mart? These kind of questions they will ask in the interview. Okay, data mart is nothing but the focusing on a single subject area. Okay, data mart is a simple form of data warehousing that is focused on a single subject or functional area. that we call as a data mart. Okay, we have two types of data marts are there, guys. One is the dependent data mart, one is the independent data mart. Okay, one is the dependent data mart, one is the independent data mart. You can see the main difference between the dependent and independent is how you pull the data mart, how you pull the data in the data mart. You can see here the category basically primarily the data source feed to the data mart. Dependent data mart draw the data from the central data warehousing that has already been created. Independent data mart is the contrast system built by the drawing data. Okay, you can see here for understanding purpose. This is the independent data marts. So we are not going to any dependent here. On top of the OLTP data only, they are going to create the data marts. So independently. Okay, this we call as a independent. Bottom up approach is a independent data mart. Here the dependent, this is a dependent. On top of that central data warehousing, they are going to depend. Once the data created, then only we can able to create the data marts. We can able to load the data here. That's why we call as a dependent data mart. So top down approach is a dependent data mart. Okay, this is depending on the data warehousing. Central data warehousing, it's a depending. So this kind of data marts we call as a dependent data marts. This kind of data marts we call as a independent data marts. These are only for our understanding concept why. It's not at all required in the real time. This is only for the concepts, only for the understanding the business. Okay, these are not, is not useful for the real time point of view. Okay, but we have to understand the concept, right? We have to understand the functionality. Okay, what is the data mart? Is nothing but the data mart is a focusing on a single subject, a single functional area. The two types of data marts are there. One is the independent data mart, second is the dependent data mart. So independent data mart is nothing but the on top of the OLTP data. Okay, on top of the raw data, they're going to create without any dependent and then load into the data warehousing. But dependent means once the data loaded into data warehousing, then only we can able to process the data into data marts. This is the dependent data marts. Okay. Let's come to the what is the difference between the data warehouse and data mart. What is the difference between the data warehouse and data mart? So data warehouse is nothing but the under data warehouse only data marts are the small chunks, right? All data marts is nothing but the say data warehousing. Multiple data marts is nothing but the data warehousing. Okay, scope will be corporate. This is a line of business, means this is an entire organization. Data warehouse is an entire organization. So data mart is a under organization. We have the small businesses, means HR information, sales information, inventory information, or you can take the insurance domain, insurance, credit card, insurance, credit card, personal loan. This is one data mart. Personal loan is a one data mart. Credit card information is a one data mart. Home loan is a one data mart. So like that, they're going to create the different data marts. Okay, one table is nothing but the one data mart. Okay, multiple tables will be in the data warehousing. Okay, subject will be multiple, here single subject. Okay, data source. So to create one data mart, it will take the few days or few. We are getting the data in few tables, few source systems. We are getting the data, but here we are getting the multiple source systems. We are getting the multiple source systems. Okay, here size will be for one data mart size will be less than 100 GB. The multiple data marts will be, it will be more than 100 GB to 1 TB. So they will ask in an interview, what is your size, project size, database size, your target database size. You can say 1 TB. It will be more than 1 TB. So database we are maintaining the history, right? So you can able to say up to 1 TB. Our size will be 1 TB. You can say 1 TB or 2 TBs. This much data they are going to maintain in the data warehousing. Okay. Implementation time, it will be months to year. To complete the entire data warehousing project, it will take the years of the years. But here will be for one table we can able to complete within the months. Okay. So data warehousing is not a small project, guys. So it will take minimum 3 to 4 years. It will complete minimum 4 years also. So whichever I working here, that project is going on from the last 5 years is working. The same project I'm working on for more than 5 years. Still the project is going on. Still one more year. It will be there one more year. Okay. You can take web application projects or manual projects or any small projects. Okay. That will take maximum 6 months to 1 year only, that projects. But the data warehousing project, once you are entered into the data warehousing project, it will be there years and years. Okay. Minimum 3-4 years it will be there, guys. The data warehousing projects are the minimum 3 to 4 years it will run for completion of the data warehousing projects. Okay. Or it will take 5 years or 6 years also. The keep on the changes, amendments it will coming in the project. Okay. That's why it's a big, they are the big projects. Data warehousing is a big projects. So clear, right? So data warehousing, what is data warehousing? Up to we have discussed the what is data warehousing, what is the data warehousing architecture, and then properties of the data warehousing, ODS concept, ODS properties, okay, and authors of data warehousing, and the data mart, types of the data marts. These topics we covered as till now, guys. So here the questions I will share the questions, interview point of view questions. So this is we covered. I'm going to ping in the chat also. Please prepare answers for these questions, guys. What is data warehousing? What is data mart? What is ODS? Difference between the data warehousing and data mart. Difference between the data warehousing and ODS. OLTP and OLAP system. And then types of data marts. Please go through these questions, guys. Prepare these answers. Okay. So you're understanding whatever the definition is there. If you want to search on that definition, or can take from I will upload this one today. Take it from here, or you can search on the Google. But clear the concept. This concept you have to clear. Okay. Any doubts, guys, today class? Okay. So tomorrow we'll start the first 1 or 2 days. We'll go slowly only. Then we'll take the 1.5 hour class, guys. Okay. So I will upload this one today. Then tomorrow we are going to discuss the what is dimension, what is fact table, and dimension models. Whichever we discuss in the OLTP, OLAP, right? Those topics we will start in the tomorrow class. Okay. Just I'm going to stop the recording.